Sports, where we review all the best sports clips from around the world. Now, you're probably wondering, why should I watch over here instead of over there? Because over there, they don't care about what you have to say. They say this all the time. They don't respect us. They don't read the comments. They think we're just a bunch of clowns on YouTube, Twitter. But I think it's the opposite. I think we know exactly what we're talking about. So I read every single comment. So if you think what I'm saying is the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard, let me know in the comments below. If you think what I'm saying is the most amazing thing in the world, then also please definitely let me know. Either way, let's get into some discussions, let's get into some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and it's turning into something truly, truly special. I want to build something that we all really genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really proud and excited to be part of, something that I think we lack with the interaction with some of these other platforms and channels. And so I think we're well on our way to doing it, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. And I really truly see this channel just as much as mine as it is yours. So please do consider subscribing. So without further ado, let's get to it. We're watching a clip of First Things First, talking about the Rams versus the Lions in the playoffs, of course. And kind of who do we think is going to win this game? It's a pretty much a coin flip, relatively speaking. Given 3 points at home. So, or no. Right, yeah. So, home for the Lions, it is. And so, yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I think the Rams I think both these teams actually are two of the most confusing teams to figure out where they stand. Mainly because the Rams got off to such a weird start that they were not looking good. Cup was really injured, had this weird, lingering hamstring injury where he then had to go to, Minnesota, of all places, I believe it was. And then Puka Nacua came out of nowhere. And, Stafford was a little banged up. And then, he, kind of got healthy, right? Everything just kind of rewrote the ship. And so and again, it's always hard when you're struggling in the beginning of the season to evaluate you later in the season because you don't forget those beginning games. But at the same time, weeks 1 through 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 even, most of the time, especially if you're well coached and if you're getting healthier, you're not that same team anymore, right? It's like Tom Brady and Tampa Bay. They played not well, his first season in the beginning and then got it together. And then obviously the rest is history, winning that Super Bowl. So when a team is like that, it's very difficult to make sense of. Kind of like the reverse of how the Eagles were. How the Eagles didn't necessarily play great, in the beginning of the season, but they were winning, and now it looks like they're in a free fall. And who's to say that they can't go back to winning those tight games and just getting on by? Again, I'm not saying I'm predicting that, but my point is that it's a possibility. So when you look at the Rams, you're like, oh, well, who are they? Are they an elite team? Are they? People almost forgot that Sean McVay is an elite coach, and people forgot that Matthew Stafford is a legitimate Hall of Fame level player. Not saying that he's definitely getting into the Hall of Fame, but it's a conversation. He's definitely not a no Hall of Fame. In fact, there's plenty of people that say he is a Hall of Famer. I'm not, having an opinion on that necessarily right now. So it's just a very interesting, squad for them. And then of course you have the Lions, and the Lions kind of came, I don't want to say they came out of nowhere because we saw the progression with the Lions, but the Lions were looking like that they were going to get the 2 seed, maybe even the 1 seed. It was kind of like, oh my God, is the NFC Championship going to go through the Lions? That first game, they beat, the Kansas City Chiefs on their ring ceremony, trophy ceremony, whatever the heck it was. And, they beat them on the road first game. I mean, it was wild. You were like, whoa, what is going on here? Who is Detroit? Let's go. This is wild. So I just think it's just one of those things where both these teams are a little tricky. And the problem is I don't know if you have a tremendous amount of trust in Dan Campbell in the playoffs. And I think that was really highlighted when you saw the game against the Dallas Cowboys. I think going for 2 was okay. I think that was fine. But then when it didn't work out, he just kept saying, we're going for it, we're going for it, we're going for it. And it was just that was immaturity. That was, a stubborn kid who was just angry, at his parents, and then he's like, I'll show you. That's literally what it was, when he should have just been like, all right, we just got pushed back. We got screwed by the refs. I'm really angry, whatever. Kick this field goal and we're going to go, win it. And honestly, I wouldn't have even gone for 2 in the first place because the Detroit had all the momentum. Dallas was struggling to score. And at this point, the odds are in your favor because you either are going to get the coin, win the coin toss, and you're going to march down and score a touchdown. Or if you lose the coin toss, the way your defense had been playing, you were confident that you were going to keep Dak out of the end zone, and then it would have been a field goal. And the way your offense was playing, obviously now all you do is either got to kick another field goal or get a touchdown, which was very well in the realm of possibility. So it felt like there was a greater than a 50% chance of you winning it if you did go into overtime. And, he could not see that. So, I mean, the universe, God, whoever was literally being like, don't do this. And yet, he did it. So that's unsettling. If you are a fan of Detroit and you're going into the playoffs, that's unsettling.
Stafford headed to his first home golf playing his old team. Lions favored by 3, and the Rams have been hot. 7-1 since the bye. And echoes of their Super Bowl team. Check this out. Season comparison. The turnovers are the same. Red zone touchdown percentage very similar. Rushing yards per game, they're even better now. Rushing TDs, pretty similar. Except there's 8 there.
Not similar.
Actually, when I look at it.
Have you read any of this stuff? This was one of those things Josh gave you, but you didn't look before.
Better, much
You're not going to say that
it's a lot. It's a lot of difference.
Better.
Better at everything.
Better.
Josh, I was confused.
Josh, buddy, you're 1 for 3.
I was confused.
We're not playing baseball here, friend. It's more like that. More like free throws.
Okay.
The question is the wrong team favorite.
Yeah. So it's not just that the Rams are as hot as any team in the league. We can show it to you. We can show them since Stafford came back from his injury, what have they done? And the answer is beat everyone except for one overtime loss to Baltimore, who in that time was just crushing people. So all of that's positive as far as how they're playing. But I can obviously at times be a brilliant man, but I also can be a simple man. And let me just ask Greg Jennings this question.
Please.
Hey, in this game, which team has the better coach? Who? Come on. Who is the better coach?
I would go with the Rams.
Who has the better quarterback?
I would go with the Rams.
Who has the better defense? What are we talking
as far as being opportunistic.
Okay, what are we talking about? One team has the better coach, the better quarterback, the better defense. I would argue now that Laporta's down, the better weapons. What are we talking about? I mean, the Rams are clearly the better team.
I wouldn't say clearly. Yeah. The Lions, I'm going to give them some respect. Look, the Rams could win this game. I'm not sure which way I'm going yet. But the Lions, just like you said, Lions have had the better offense.
And this is where the Cowboys are getting so lucky because you have the Lions having to play the Rams, and then the winner of that game most likely – or no, and then there's a good chance that the Rams can beat the Lions. And then if that happens, then the Rams will be playing the 49ers and not the Cowboys, which is a huge gift. Huge gift. So that's where the Cowboys are just so incredibly lucky. I had to just add that.
Goff, Stafford is close. I don't think it's as bad. Look at the numbers. I mean, Goff's numbers actually were better. All right, across the board. And I get that Stafford's gotten hot lately, but like I said, he is one interception drop away. I'm just saying. Now he's a darn near legend. And Nick on the call was putting him in the Hall of Fame.
No, I was not.
If they win the Super Bowl, and he could have been a GOAT in the negative sense had Tart not dropped that. So I'm just saying, I think that the Lions have played great football. The defense, I'm with Greg. The defense has gotten better. When you go into Dallas in a game Dallas has its antennas up for, and you hold them to 20 points, that's impressive. So,
of that, I mean, it's 27.
And I thought they outplayed
the ball at the goal line. Whenever we talk about that Detroit-Dallas game, we talk about all the bad luck that went against Detroit. And I don't think it was the Detroit defense that all of a sudden, you know what I mean, where CeeDee Lamb fumbles at the inch line, or else that's 27 and they're up 14-3.
Right? I mean, they spent more
time if they tackle in the end zone.
Right.
We can't do that.
The entire analysis of that game has been about a play that didn't happen.
There was a legit mistake made on the referees. But if we're going to count CeeDee's long touchdown when the Lions guy was playing poor flag football, then he doesn't get credit for an extra touchdown because he spilled the ball out of the end zone.
No, we know.
Look, I don't think the wrong team is favored. There's a lot of momentum if you're the Detroit Lions. There's a lot of positive energy in that city, in that locker room. This is their first home playoff game. Shoot, I wasn't even born the last time they had a playoff game at home. This is the first home game at Ford Field.
That's a lie. You're older than you're letting the audience know.
It's okay. And when you look at this team, like, they can score points. There's no team in the NFC that scares this team, and I think they're going to play with the chip and the edge because of what happened down in Dallas. Because they feel like they should be the number 2 seed, and they had an opportunity to slip away from them, despite.
I don't know if that's Detroit's mentality. Detroit's not going into this game playing the Rams thinking about what happened against the Dallas Cowboys. And if they are, that's bad coaching. Excuse me, that's bad coaching and bad planning on behalf of, that organization. So I just think that game's over. And sure, I mean, like, if they're using that maybe as, like, I don't know, some fuel, I don't know. But no. I'm just not seeing that. They're focused. They have their goal. They have their objective. I think they're getting a lot of the coach speak from Dan Campbell, a lot of the, platitudes, a lot of the, we got this, let's go. It's all, the playoffs are all who wants it more. The record is our record. Everything we just did before doesn't matter. The record, everyone hits the reset button and we're all 0-0, 0-0. I think you're getting a lot of that type of stuff. If they punch you, you punch back twice as hard. That's what Dan Campbell does. And I think that's why people, really like him. But then there's also the limitations of that, because it's like, all right, well, you know what? We need to do more than just punch someone. We need to, use our emotions. We need to be smart. We need to, figure out what's going on, right? If we're down by 10 going into the fourth quarter, we can't just punch real hard. We have to figure out what is our plan of attack here. Let's go. What are we doing? So, which I think Dan Campbell has just kind of lacked a little bit, which I like Dan Campbell. So I'm not trying to knock him. I'm really not. But I would say this game, as I said in the beginning of this video, is that it's just a difficult game to really evaluate for the reason. That's why they're even saying, like, that's why the conversation is like, is the wrong team favored? Because we're just kind of like, well, who are these two teams right now? To me, I'm just more sad. Again, I'm just more sad that the way how the playoffs, how they've kind of unfolded in the seeding, because it just seems like we're going to be robbed a couple good games. But I am happy that the Rams are playing the Lions at least somewhere in the playoffs, because we get to see the whole Matthew Stafford, Goff, swapping of the quarterbacks. Like, that's exciting to me. If you're saying, like, who do I just want to see win? It's so hard, because on one side, I want to see kind of Goff get payback to some degree. And I don't even necessarily see it as payback, because the Rams still paid him a gajillion dollars. So he's not a victim, but, it would be kind of like pretty cool to have to have Jared Goff knock out the Rams. But at the same time, I only want that to happen if I think that the Rams, or that I think that the Lions, I put it this way. I only want good teams in the playoffs that can make good competitive games. And my fear is that the Lions have a higher likelihood of either laying an egg or making dumb decisions, like, keep going for the 2-point conversion, when compared to the Rams, right? The Rams are just better coached, smarter, less likely to lay an egg in the playoffs. So that's kind of what I root for, right? Especially in the playoffs. I'm rooting for storylines. I'm rooting for good games. I don't want to see, the Rams pull this win off and then go up against the 49ers, and the 49ers just like blow them out because they're just not good enough. They just kind of got hot because of just that was the way the ball rolled for them, but they were more fool's gold. And then the 49ers just show who they are and they just wipe them off the face of the earth. Like, that's not that fun. But if, if the Lions are actually supposed to be as good as they're supposed to be, then it's like, all right, then you kind of want to see, in a lot of ways, it's like, may the best man win, right? You want to see the better teams win to some degree, but at the same time, upsets are always fun, because under that logic, then I want to be rooting for the Packers to beat the Cowboys. So I don't know. This is definitely going to be such a fascinating game to watch. Probably one of the more interesting matchups, if not the most interesting matchup to watch. setting aside the whole storyline and the drama. From a storyline and drama, definitely the most exciting. Matthew Stafford coming home. It's going to be, he's never had a home playoff game, I guess, for Detroit. And now he's playing at a playoff game and it's not, it's not his team. That's pretty fascinating, pretty, interesting storyline in itself. So, those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. Let me know in the comments below. Who do you think should be favored in this game? Who do you think is going to win the game? The Detroit Lions or the LA Rams? Would love to hear your thoughts. And please don't forget to subscribe. We are building an amazing community here, and I would truly, truly love to see you part of it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps with the visibility and the algorithm, and I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much, and see you next time.